Hey guys, so I have read another book. This is the Book Explosion Book of April, and I was trying to participate in the read-along thing, but I wasn't able to finish it in time. But that is Rebel Belle by Rachel Hawkins. It's about this southern girl named Harper, and she ended up getting these like superhero powers from the janitor because he was dying and he passed them along to her through this like little kiss of life type of thing, and it made her bound to her mortal enemy, and it's an interesting read. What kept my attention throughout this book was the snark factor and just how snarky the characters are towards each other, specifically Harper and David, who are meant to be mortal enemies from like preschool. But, you know, things change, you get to know people, therefore you get a better understanding of who they are and why they do the things they do. Which, I like David a whole lot better than I liked Harper, and Harper was the narrator of this book. The way that the Southern culture is presented, it's presented in a kind of stereotypical way, but not to the point where it's like, oh my gosh, the South is not like that. Born and raised in the South, I completely understand a lot of things that they were talking about with the Southern culture, and it wasn't overdone. It was done just enough so you were reminded that this is set in the South, it's set in Alabama. Like, you couldn't forget that, but it wasn't overdone to the point where you got really annoyed with it. The mythology that's like weaved into the storyline is really cool because you have your paladins, you have your oracles, and you have your mages, and all those three are supposed to work together, and they tied it in with Charlemagne, and it was just really cool. I really would like to see, you know, how the author was able to like come up with that, or if that's actually like a mythology thing. I really don't know, but it was done well, and the way it's weaved into the story, you learn a little bit at a time. You're not thrown a whole lot of it all at once, which is really cool. The book opens with, looking back, none of this would have happened if I'd brought lip gloss to the homecoming dance. Really? Really? I'm sorry. That's no, doesn't work for me. And after finishing the first chapter, I almost put this book down, but I'm glad I pushed through it, and it was enjoyable. Like I said, the snark factor was my favorite part, just because they were so, David and Harper were just so snarky with each other, and I don't know, I really enjoy doing that type of stuff because it's fun banter. Even if it's not meant to be like romantic banter, it's fun banter in general, just to be like snarky with another person. As far as recommendation goes, I'm a little wary about recommending this to just like anyone in general. I'm not saying that specifically the guys, I'm not saying that they shouldn't read this, but based on the guys that I know, I don't really know anybody that would enjoy this thing, because I mean there are entire parts, and there were the parts that I enjoyed, which was the like whole chat about like superheroes and their origin stories, because Harper complains about hers because they're like, oh, you know, like Superman's an alien, Batman lost his parents, Spider-Man got bit by a radioactive spider, and Harper got kissed by the janitor, and that's how she got her superpowers. Like, you know, the things that get her the most, I don't know if they would like drive the guys to keep reading the book, but that's just my opinion. So if you want to read this, go ahead, pick it up, but because it is an enjoyable read, but just make sure that you fully read a full synopsis, not just my little tidbit, and take my wording on all of this stuff. Do your research before you read a book. Don't just take someone else's word for it, because you never know. You might enjoy it, you might not. Moving on to some other things. This particular week, starting today, May 12th, and it will end on May 18th, is the Bout of Books Readathon, and I'm going to be participating in that, and I'm going to quickly, in my little end screen here, show you the books that I intend to get through while I am doing this. And so first one will be Gathering Shadows by Nancy Mel. This one was given to me by the Bethany House, so I need to read it, write the review for it, and yeah, so that'll be there. Next one will be The Circle by David Eggers. Thought the whole concept of it sounds really cool and I really wanted to read it, so I'm going to do it this week. And then the other book, if I get through those two books, I intend to pick up Prince of Shadows by Rachel Caine, which is a Romeo and Juliet retelling through the eyes of Benvolio, which I can't wait to read. But yeah, so I'm going to try and read those 3 books this week, because the whole purpose of this readathon is to push you to read more than what you normally would. I can typically finish a book in about a week, sometimes quicker than that depending on how good the book is, but regardless of whether or not I enjoy the book, I can finish a book in about a week. Prove that to myself with my young adult lit class this semester. But that is it. I will have reviews for all of those, and as soon as I finish typing up the review for Rebel Belle on my iNR Tumblr, the link for that will be down below, and I will see you next video. Bye!